my dad prophesied long before that I would become a lawyer. For me, at the time, I was young. I did not understand a lot about what life would become in his absence. But if there's one thing that I understood is that when we left the graveside, I still have the picture in my head. It's that we are all going home, but this person is not coming with us. I want to tell the story of a young Tolus from the township, not because I enjoy talking about where I come from.
Okay.
No. But this is a redefining of some sort. To say I know there's another me in the township somewhere. Who is surrounded by hopelessness. Who does not have a mentor next to them. You know, who does not have a close point of contact in terms of how far they can dream and the things that they can achieve. And I want to come back and tell that story to say, I'm close. And this is what I've seen, this is what I've experienced, this is what I've achieved. Because now, for you to sit like Vuyani and teach, Vuyani, you're teaching us based on what, honestly? Honestly.
I feel like it.
Because now we are flooded by people who just want to teach. They've not even earned the basis to teach us.
There's no merit.
There's no merit. You've got nothing to show. There's nothing that compels me to listen to. If I were to research you and not listening to what you are saying, I'm like, but when are you going to be speaking to me? When are you still need to work? That is what I said to you when I got here, that I'm still in my journey of becoming. I just want to share the experiences as well. But to sit in an interview and do some profiling, we are not there yet. Please work. Please
get yourself.
Yes, please work. And then you would have practical experiences to share.
Duduzile?
Mr. Vuyani, I know we spoke about it. I can't help it. I honestly and truly cannot help it. Please allow
me. You cannot help it. Okay. Permission granted.
Thank you.
It's a weird one. Yes. Maybe I should call Sis Duduzile.
No. I think Duduzile is fine.
It's fine.
Duduzile is fine.
Please, Vuyani. Okay. I'll appreciate that. Yes. How are you checking in?
I am well. I'd like to believe I'm well. It's been quite a tough couple of weeks.
Okay.
Between misplanning on my part, going on holiday, writing exams, work, and catching up in everything else in between. So it's been quite a couple of tough weeks.
Okay.
I've had tough weeks.
All right.
Yes.
And the day, how has it been?
The day has been good. It has been good. I'm still catching up because I've been off for the longest of time.
Okay.
I've been off for the longest of time, so I'm still trying to catch up. Where I work, I kinda run a one-woman show.
Okay.
I'm a dedicated resource to a team. So in my absence, you can imagine what happens there.
Okay.
So it's me trying to get back into the hang of things.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But I'm okay.
I'm glad you had a good day.
How are you?
I am excited for today. I'm looking forward to us having this session. I'm happy to learn. You know, I think one thing I love about this platform is every day I'm learning something.
Sure.
And I think that's what excites me of late, is learning something new, finding out something that I didn't know. So I'm just saying to you, when I say, okay, what do you mean by that? Please don't be surprised.
No.
We just
I'm more than happy to take you through.
Yes. Tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, who are you? What's your background? And what brings you here?
You know, I always find that question to be a tough one.
Okay.
I'm a township girl. No, I'm a girl from the township. There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference. I'm a girl from the township. I was born and bred in Sebokeng. I'm a Val girl. I'm born and bred in Sebokeng to wonderful parents. Unfortunately, one has passed when I was still quite young. I think I was 5 when my dad passed, and I was raised by a single man from there henceforth. I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest child. I'm a product of public schools.
Okay.
Yes. I'm a product of the basic education as it stands.
Yeah.
I'm a product of that.
You learn things in Venek.
Well, I would translate them into English in my head.
Okay.
Because I've always had the love for the language. And I think at that point, I did not realize it then, that in order for me to enter and occupy certain spaces, I would need to get this language right.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is what inspired a whole lot of my love for reading, my love for literature, my love. I would read so many books. I would journal a lot. I was a dear diary type of a young girl.
Yeah. You still read?
I do.
What are you reading currently?
I'm reading Rising from the Township by Stephen Vuyani.
Okay.
So in that it's a storytelling book of entrepreneurs who rised from the township and went on to do exceptionally well in their spaces.
Okay. So,
Stephen Vuyani. Actually, I would have brought you a copy.
Yeah.
I have a
copy.
Please. I'll make sure that you get it.
Please share a copy.
I'll share a copy.
Like I said, I'm here to learn book. And I'm already learning.
Definitely. Such an inspirational book, and there's so much resonance with me there.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm the eldest of 4.
Okay.
I have a younger brother who's an attorney, and I've got twin sisters who are now university girls.
Okay.
Yes. And that is who I am, basically. I'm a lady who loves growth.
Okay.
I love growth.
Yeah.
I love and I revere competence. And beating the odds. I love beating the odds.
You mentioned that your father passed on whilst you were still young.
Yes.
Now, looking at that, experience now as an adult, how was it like? What is your impression about Duduzile when she was 5 and having to go through that? I also lost my dad when I was, I think, 11. Okay. So, yeah.
Painful experience. For me, at the time, I was young. I did not understand a lot about what life would become in his absence. But if there's one thing that I understood is that when we left the graveside, I still have the picture in my head. It's that we are all going home, but this person is not coming with us. And as I grew older, I then started to experience the pain in a way that I could comprehend his absence.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know, at countless times, I've had to sit and say, if only my dad was here. If only my dad. And my mom was quite young. I think my mom was in her mid-30s when this happened. So you have a woman who is grieving. She's young, she's grieving, she's going through all of this. And at the same time, she's got kids to raise. Yeah. You understand that sometimes there comes a time where there's that imbalance in terms of tending to herself and tending to her kids. But luckily for my mom, she had a very strong support system, which I enjoy myself now from her family, where they were where they could see that she's unable to show up here. Then they were there to do that for her. So it was quite tough. Because there were a whole lot of changes that needed to happen. We had to move. I had to change schools. Yeah. And because my dad tried to create a legacy with the time that God had given him, we were enjoying, at least in the first 5 years, the fruits of that legacy. But then life was to take a dip or a totally different turn.
Yeah.
After you have exhausted all these things. And as you grow older, you now start to understand how that change happened. You know? So it was quite tough. I wish I grew up with him.
Yeah.
I still long for a father, not in a destructive way. Not in a destructive way. At least I know where my father is.
Yeah. Yes.
So not in a destructive way, but I'm a girl child who just needs her father. And it's how the stories that are being shared with me of the desires and the dreams that my dad had for me. My dad prophesied long before that I would become a lawyer.
Okay.
He said, because I was very opinionated, I conversed for a living.
Yeah.
I just conversed as a child. And he said, Lona ukuzoba male. And he prophesied the same with my younger brother.
Okay.
And it happened exactly like that.
Both of you guys are doctors. Lawyers.
We are lawyers, yes.
That's
how it happened. So you can imagine a man who has such desires and dreams and speaks such power over his kids. If he were around, what would life have been like?
Yeah. What memory do you have of him?
There's quite a lot. What bothers me is that I can't recall his voice.
Okay.
But I recall I was my dad's gun. He took me with him everywhere. Where he could, he took me. I remember this one time he wanted to go to work and he knew that I would want to go with him. So he tried to dodge me somehow. But because I've always been that girl.
Yeah.
I've always been that girl. I literally ran behind the car in my pajamas.
Ooh.
And he took me in that state. Okay. I didn't really have to change and stuff.
Yeah.
So he went with me to work, and the ladies from where he worked went to the shops and got me something to wear and change.
Ooh, okay.
So that I can be. I was a girl who always wanted to be next to her father.
Yeah.
We were besties.
Close. Very good memories. I'm glad that you get to share that.
Thank you.
It's really profound. Is there anything that you're missing about yourself? Sorry, I know I distracted you because you were telling us a bit about yourself.
Yes. I don't think so. I think as we continue to converse, some parts of my story or where I come from or who I am would resurface because I believe that everything is just interlinked.
Yes.
So I would make reference at some point to where it really started or what informed a certain thing. And that's how I will also unfold in telling my story.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Today you want to teach something. We want to have a conversation that hopefully educates someone out there. The question to you is, why do you want to have a conversation like the one that you want us to have today? And I don't know what's the conversation, similar to someone who's watching. But why, as you were preparing for this, why did you want to come and talk about this conversation that we're going to talk about today?
I said something at the beginning about I love beating the odds. I love beating the odds. I love conquering situations where victory is never perceived. So I want to tell the story of a young girl who's from a township. Not because I enjoy talking about where I come from.
Okay.
No. But this is a redefining of some sort. To say I know there's another me in the township somewhere.
Yeah.
Who is surrounded by hopelessness. Who does not have a mentor next to them.
Yeah.
Who does not have a close point of contact in terms of how far they can dream and the things that they can achieve. And I want to come back and tell that story to say, I'm close.
Yeah.
And this is what I've seen. This is what I've experienced. This is what I've achieved. If I can do it, you can do it or even surpass me.
Yes.
I want to be a well of knowledge, of information, a go-to person who is close enough to you to get you where you want to go. I didn't have that. I really had to use my imagination to imagine a better life. You know, I had to use my imagination. I
The
had to watch
exposure was not
TV
there.
and see and saw people in beautiful houses. And I said, there's no way this is not possible. So it's not everyone who has that, who's able to use their imagination in order for them to change their mindset, in order for them to dream beyond where they are. So that is what I want to do, to be a close point of contact for the next young girl, to say, it might look hopeless. You might be in an environment that is discouraging in nature, but just know that I'm from the same environment. And this is the decision. These are the decisions I made. It's a series of them for me to get to where I am.
Yes. Become that person to emulate. You know, as you're talking about your experience and the passing of your dad, part of the reason why I sort of dwelled on that a little bit, it was because I know someone is going through that. I know someone who might have just recently gone through that needs to hear your story. Because a lot of the times when you go through these things, you don't see the other side.
True.
But, you know, through your story, then we get to see the other side of victory. You know, we get to see the other side of success. We get to see, you know, the fruits of endurance, you know.
True.
We get to understand the importance. So you spoke about you being a person who has a hero narrative, you know, a conqueror narrative, you know. We get to understand the importance of framing of the mind to say,
True.
I need to think like this in this situation. And I think many of us who grew up in the township really did not have the role models. We did not have the exposure to a lot of these things. A lot of them, we're learning them now. But I think us telling this story today and your story today is hopefully going to help someone who is in our situation. Hopefully they can reach where we are and beyond, as you are saying.
And beyond. You know, yesterday I was thinking about how people shy away from identifying themselves as role models. Let me tell you, I'm intentional about being a role model.
Okay.
I'm intentional about role modeling. You know, role modeling has nothing to do with perfection.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with perfection, but it has everything to do with decision making decisions for impact, making decisions for change, making decisions for growth. In that way, you are modeling your life in such a way that it would be an inspiration to the next person. It would be educational to the next person. That is what role modeling is to me. So if you were to ask me, are you a role model? Definitely I am. I mean, if I was very intentional in a sense that I had to think through this thought processing in terms of which university do you go to? What are the credentials of that university? What is the weight, the gravitas of that qualification? What are you? How are you going to navigate getting employment with that qualification? Right?
Yes.
These are decisions that you are making. There's a home situation that you need to change. Is what you're studying towards going to get you to that point? So it's a whole lot of decision making that needs to happen in modeling this person, because there are 3 siblings who are coming after me.
Yeah.
Before I even inspire the community, immediately where I am, there's 3 siblings who are coming after me who are looking at me. Yeah. They don't have a blueprint of how this is done. So they're looking. If I get it wrong, if I miss a step, which I'm allowed to, I'm only human.
Yes.
But I have to be intentional in role modeling, in that I was able to achieve this coming from the same environment as you. Yeah. Please do achieve and surpass me.
Growing up, did you have anyone that you looked up to?
I did, but it was not a person who's close. I did not have a point of contact with them, which is what my mission is. I want a person who says, I look up to this person, to have a point of contact with me. There isn't a whole lot of role models where I come from, which I could literally walk up to and say, how did you do that?
Yes.
How did you get there? Probably they are there, but I just didn't know about them. But I didn't have that. My role models have always been people who are, no, you see them on TV, you see them, you listen to them, their music. And that is how I was inspired to dream beyond where I was.
So you grew up in a township, and you mentioned your dad passing away. What are some of the challenges that you think you would have gone through at that point? And how do you think these challenges or these things that you were going through helped you reframe your view of life? Because I mean, you are here today.
Yes. Yes. So now I will first share with you the dynamics between my parents.
Okay.
My dad was an intelligent man. He was intellectually gifted.
Okay.
My mom also bright in her own right. Right? But if we are to say in comparison to my dad was just that person. So in my journey of academia, I realized that I needed that man.
Okay.
This is the man who could have sat with me down and said, what do you want to do? What do you want to become? Let's go and spend a day with someone that I know who is in that field, so that you get a full understanding of where you are going. So in his thinking, he intellectualized a whole lot of things, which is how I also apply my mind.
Yeah.
So it would have helped me to have that experience at a very young age. My dad believed in that, experience things. Be this today, be that tomorrow, so that you find what is it really that you want. My mom is from a traditional school of thought where go to school, decide whatever that you want to do, but just make sure it works.
Yeah, make it work.
We don't know what it is. We don't even want to know, but just make sure that it works. But with my dad, I believe I would have had a different experience. A person who's able to say and critique you constructively, so to say, I don't think that's your strength.
Okay.
I don't think that's where you are best. Probably look at this. I could have been spoiled for choice, and I could have had a chance to explore more in terms of what is it that I like. Some of these things I'm finding them out in my big age.
Yeah.
In my big age.
It's a trial and error.
And it was difficult for me to go through the basic education system in public schools. I always felt like I don't belong.
Okay.
Yes. You know why? Because of my imagination. In my head, I had to attend a school where after classes I can go swim for swimming lessons.
Okay.
I wanted a private tutor. I wanted a coach. I wanted to be exposed to therapy. I wanted all those things at a very young age. And I wanted to speak English. Let's speak English. I wanted effective communication.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in a space where people felt inferior in the pursuit of things that are not familiar in our space. I was bullied because I could speak English in a township school. How dare you? How are you able to comprehend what the teacher is saying in English whilst we are still waiting for the Vedic translation?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's those things. I think my dad would have taken me through a whole lot. It took me long to get to achieve certain things, that if the foundation was right, I could have achieved them
quite faster.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because my next question was going to be exactly what you just answered, to say, I wonder what was the reception of you, because I'm thinking now that what you've described is what would typically be called a drama queen, but hey, okay, drama queen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I got that throughout. I got that. I think it got better in the latter years of my high schooling, but in primary it was bad, especially in a new school. I was bullied by a teacher.
Okay.
I was only in grade 4. I was bullied by a teacher because of, again, where I lived in my head.
Yeah.
A child could speak.
The imagination.
Yes, a child could speak and you would have to listen. I was a very opinionated girl. I was bullied because I couldn't write in a certain way.
Okay.
So I don't know what they call it now, but I couldn't write in that way. From where I was, I wasn't
Is it
taught.
cursive?
Yes, I think it's cursive.
Cursive, yeah.
Yes, I couldn't write that. I wasn't taught that in my very early years of primary school.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught that. So this used to frustrate the teacher. But what frustrated her more was the fact that I was vocal about not being able to write in this way. And not only that, I was telling her that it's your job to teach me how to do this.
Okay.
Me not knowing must not frustrate you.
Yeah.
You must teach me how to do this. I'm also speaking at the time to the dedication that she should be showing to me for me to become great. Because if I wasn't I didn't have a strong personality, another child break leon.
Yeah.
That I'm being bullied by a teacher, you are literally using your superiority over this child. And it could cause them to go back into their cocoon and not be confident and all sorts of things. And then as a result, they don't become.
Yes.
They don't become. That's a talent lost. That's a gift lost. That's an intellect lost because of that. So I was vocal about it. And I had to change schools because I think she got physical with me at some point.
Really?
Yes. And I had to change schools. I went to a new school. When I got there, I continued with my personality. And I was bullied again for being in debate, for articulating myself in English, And I was thinking this whole time that I'm doing this so that you can follow suit. So that when we go out and we meet with these Model C school learners, there will not be much of a difference.
Yeah,
we are being taught. We all have teachers. Our teachers have gone through training. Some of them were trained together. So we are receiving the same level of competence. But then in the latter years, I was like, okay, that is not true. Our teachers are not trained the same. The dedication is not the same. The quality of education is definitely not the same.
Not the same. So true.
It's definitely not the same.
What would you say gave you the frame of mind? I mean, there's someone who's watching this podcast and they're feeling like, but I'm not like that.
True.
What made you like that? Because I mean, I'm thinking your dad passed on when you were young. Is it just genes? Should we just give up and say, "Ay, what's again?" Or do we say, actually, there is a framework? There is. When you look back now, do you think there's a structured way that you can guide someone to say, "This is how you become vocal. This is how you become articulate. This is how you build confidence."
Yes. As cliche as it may sound, knowledge is power. And the sooner you learn to equip yourself with knowledge, the better. When you have knowledge, what is it that you can get away with? So in terms of that, how I built that, it's genes, number one. I'll give it to genes.
Okay.
It's genes. I was born with it. I believe I was born with it. But more than anything else, I engaged in things that challenged my mind. I read a lot. I consumed a whole lot of educational material.
How were you reading then? I mean, you are, let's say, what age did you start reading?
As young as I could have been in grade 6 or 7.
Okay.
Primary.
And what books are you reading? Where are you finding them?
I started with magazines.
Okay.
Because I'm a person who likes visualizing things. So magazines gave me that. I had a grandmother who would buy a whole lot of magazines. So I would read like close to 15 Move magazines in a day. You buy True Love. Sometimes I'd go to Pick and Pay and I'd page through the first pages and I'd read quickly. And about DS's Dolly would read people's responses and the advices that they are given.
Okay.
And I'd be challenged. I'm like, I don't think that advice is right, Or question the person who's written to Sis Dolly. I'm like, Chief, there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way you think like that. There's no way. So it's those things that I could resonate with at that level.
Yeah.
Magazines and stuff. But as I grew older, I then started hearing about your Steve Biko's. Who's Steve Biko? And then I found out there's a book. I write what I like. I made sure that I get a hold of that book. also what helped is that I had an incredible support system in terms of people who were able to identify that in me, which is something that I wish for everyone else. And I wish I could be that to somebody else who said, when they would bring me books.
Oh, okay.
And be
You know,
like,
I actually read, it was a podcast that I was watching.
yes.
And the guy was saying, one of the things that they found is what really, people that are successful, what helped them is they all had someone who was not related to them, but who sort of identified a potential and promoted that.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what you are sort of talking
That's exactly
about.
that. So you must be open to receive the support from anywhere. And I would discourage you expecting it from the people who are close to you, because they sometimes overlook these things in you. The fact
They are
that
biased sometimes.
They are. And sometimes it's a lack of understanding. Even if they identify it, they don't know how to help you.
Yes.
You understand? So it helps to, even if you're not a vocal person, you are not a person who would want to put themselves out there. But for the sake of your becoming, try. For the sake of your becoming, because then there is someone who's positioned somewhere to identify what you have and what only you can do. When you're hiding, you really can't. The world doesn't know about you, and there's no benefit in you and any value in you hiding yourself. Try to be that. Try to have a sense of visibility somewhere. I can promise you, there's gonna be someone who's going to identify a certain thing about you that is outstanding. And how you nurture that is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Their job sometimes is just to identify you. But then how you nurture that is entirely up to you. I knew that I am for effective communication. I knew that going to the University of Johannesburg would require me to command myself eloquently. What do? You read. What do? You read. You sit. I used to speak to myself on a mirror.
Okay.
A lot. A lot. Because I'm now showing up as this person. Remember where you are from. There's so many things that are telling you that you will not become.
Yeah.
And also what helped me, I read anything and everything that is related to where I am going. I would read a UJ prospectus 3 years before I went to UJ, because I wanted to have an understanding of what is built-in environment.
Yeah.
The faculty thereof. What is that? What is the Faculty of Management Sciences? What are available options in each faculty? You just getting this knowledge. Just get this knowledge. And then when the time comes, you will be able to compartmentalize it for your journey. But you need to be in the know. You need to get the education, whether it's informal or formal, you need to be in the know. Actually, now it's even better. We've got these things in our fingertips. We live in a digitized world where you can just access the readings. You don't have to read novels if you're not a novels person. No, read anything and everything that is related to where you want to go. You will find there information. You will find there strategies on how to go about. You will find there inspiration. Also, you will have a wake-up call that would tell you whether or not this is for you.
Yes.
It helps. Just be knowledgeable in where you are going. Don't just wing it.
It's a form of exposure. You're exposing yourself to a world that you have not seen, that you don't understand.
In the absence of a mentor, you are.
I find that a lot of us who grew up in the township, one of the things that we battled with, actually every child who grows up in a township, our biggest struggle is exposure.
It is.
And that if you have limited exposure, I mean, you cannot dream of something that you've not seen somewhere. Of course. That you've not read about it somewhere. So I perfectly understand when you say you were reading about where you want to go. Yes. As a teenager, outside school, how were you? What would you describe Duduzile, who is now entering a stage? Because part of the problem is at the age of teen, you start, getting exposed to a lot of things. There's now teenage pregnancies, there's mjolo, there's alcohol, there's clubbing, there's
a whole lot.
There's nyaupe, for boys.
There's a whole lot.
There's lebollo, there's a lot.
And it's quite
How
sad.
were you, in your teen years? Outside school, I think I sort of get how you were at school.
Yes, outside school. I was raised by a very strict mother.
Okay.
Mom was very, very strict. So there isn't a lot that I could do outside. I wasn't allowed to have friends.
Okay.
So my friendships ended at school.
At school.
Yes. So I'd spend most of my time reading, most of my time curating in my head where I want to go and the life that I want for myself. And I found that at the center of all of that was education.
Okay.
To get me out of where I was to where I want to go. Logistically, education was going to get me there. So I would go to church a lot. I was allowed to go to church. I spent most of my time at church, and I had friends from church. That's when I'd be in social spaces.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, I was restricted to being at home. And I did not really, even now, I struggle to socialize.
Yeah.
Even though I have a bubbly personality, or I have the personality. But then when it comes to engaging in social spaces, I don't do surface level of things. I can't. Everything to me is depth.
You need details.
No, I need us to talk and to talk for substance. I struggle with surface level, and these spaces that we are talking about require us to be shallow.
Yeah.
And I struggle with being shallow. From a very young age, I've always struggled. In my group of friends at school, I was called the most matured because benkuza kakhulu.
Oh.
Benkuza.
Yes.
Stop
that.
Yes. Because I remember there was a friend of mine, I understood that, okay, we are at a stage where we can date. But why are you not sleeping at home?
Yeah.
Why are you not sleeping at home? Why are your parents looking for you? You understand what I'm saying? And I would call you out. I'm that friend. I've had friendships that ended because I would call you out. I want what's best for you. Yeah. I want better for you. It has always been my dream that sizophuma sonke la public school, sizoya university sonke. And we would all pursue our dreams, but keep the friendship intact. But if you are not going to be at home, if you're going to be a problem to your parents, and if we are not going to sit down and start crafting how is it that we are going to get to this better life, then there's something fundamentally wrong with that. So my teenage years were made out of that. But I wasn't a perfect child. I explored as well.
Yeah.
It's just that the other gender wasn't my choice of exploration.
Okay. Okay.
I explored with alcohol. I explored with going out, I did all those things. I think the stage that I was at the time allowed for that.
Okay.
But I did not resonate with many of those things.
Yeah. Do you think, given a chance, would you have changed that?
No, definitely not.
You're happy?
No. The only thing, though, I could have changed is how strict my mother was. Okay. I lost out on creating networks that mattered at the time, I don't know if you've given yourself time to get an understanding behind why elites take their kids to certain schools.
I've not given too much thought, I guess. Yeah, I've got mixed emotions when it comes to.
I also.
Yeah. Okay.
I also do. But even with everything, you take what would help you. You take what matters to you or is of importance or that could add value. Then you leave the rest. So this is the part where I just took that.
Okay.
They go to these schools, your Hiltons, your Michael houses.
Yeah.
not only for the education part of it. They forge networks that would carry them to adulthood.
Yeah, okay.
When you look at your child's network,
it becomes their network.
Child of a minister, they've got access to this, they've got access to that, So when you have restricted your child, this person is losing out on developing a skill of forging networks that matter. When you are older and you're trying, you become shocked when certain people behave in a certain manner or have a certain lifestyle, because you could have been exposed to these things earlier.
Yes.
And you understand that there's that diversity that exists in terms of how people lead their lives. But as you're only getting that in your adult years, and it becomes very difficult. I'm a literal person. Like when I say something, I need you to understand it in its literal sense. It's black or it's white, and we move. Unfortunately, some networks require you to converse, require you to socialize and gain an understanding that is different from how you perceive things.
The rigid one.
So now, when you come into those spaces, you expect people to conform to your thinking. You have a low tolerance for people who think differently from you, and that is such it takes away from you. It really does take away from you. You need to embrace different kind of thinking, different opinions, and how people do things, and learn. You get to learn. Some of these things you also have them, but because you never got the chance to explore to that point, and you're like,
But given the environment where you were growing up, don't you think part of the reason why the parent was strict, it was to deliberately limit access because of the risk? I mean, in your environment, it was different. I mean, you couldn't be allowed to. I'm thinking now about your mom.
Yes.
She couldn't allow you to do certain things. That's why when you come back home, she says, stay in the house.
Yes.
Go read, go do that.
Yes.
Because she probably knew that if you spend a lot of time in the streets as opposed to reading, that becomes a frame of mind for you. And that becomes how you see the world. Sure. And you might have not been sitting here.
I could have been a victim of circumstance.
Yes.
I could have been a victim of circumstance. So I understand partly why she had to make that call, but also it took away something that is practical, But she doesn't, there's no blueprint. She didn't know.
There's not.
She didn't know how to. So it's those things, but it's also, I'm glad I wasn't exposed to certain things at a young age. I'm what they call a late bloomer. A lot of things I did late. The only thing I did and did well and in time is getting education. That I did well. But everything else I got to experience and do late. And I'm grateful for that delay. Because where I come from, people who had gone through these things earlier did not make it out. Did not make it out. I came across a childhood friend of mine, Esther. She's pregnant and she was smoking at the time. And you can tell that there's a high level of alcoholism that is happening here during this pregnancy. And it was a sad thing to see. As much as we are from the townships, there's nothing good about townships. And that is something we don't want to come to terms with. There's ayikho into okukuthi ungasiqhenya ngayo about coming from the township. Into ongaziqhenya ngayo is going back to pull whoever else is in there to come join you where you are. The environment, the state is bad. It's drugs, it's alcoholism, it's careless sexual activities, it's all sorts of things, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So if there's some of us, the likes of me and others that I know, we can go back and say, and salvage whoever is still there. Because that's how you create a legacy. It can't just be you. There has to be multiples of you so that we can change what is happening here. And in the absence of that, change doesn't come.
Yeah. The point that you're mentioning of you growing up being protected or cocooned.
Mm-hmm.
I also have exactly the same experience.
Yeah, sure.
But and I'm in construction. And one of the things that I've noticed is people have a way of networking in construction
Okay.
that I'm unable to just get into.
Okay.
You know, I'm unable to relate to that. I'm unable to relate to people going to clubs to drink and, you know, and a lot of guys would come and say, but Vuyani, you know, you need to go there. You need to
loosen up a bit.
Yeah, you need to meet people in their relaxed state because then you can, you know, people are more keen to open up. But if you go there and everyone is sober, you know, nobody's is
True.
Everyone is just guarded. But and I, to a certain extent, I thought I wanted to believe that, but now I reject that notion, you know, wholeheartedly, because I think the way I am, I'm happy with it, and the boundaries that I've set, I'm happy with them. You know, the rigidness that I have, it helps me. You know, it actually is my superpower.
It is.
You know, and I think you would relate to that. You
completely.
Agree.
Completely. I'm very rich. I'm rigid, right? When it comes to core principles. Hela, where you come from, you don't want to go back there. So if you are not rigid in certain things, it's easy for you to slip back into where you come from.
Yeah.
So I'm very rigid in terms of behavior, in terms of decision making. Why are you not applying your mind? You know, there's thinking that I don't resonate with. There's a way of doing things that I don't resonate with. And I always set boundaries in those spaces. And I've learned to be comfortable in that. And I'm okay. Even the people in my life, they understand that about me. And that is, I think it makes me who I am.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been just another person. You understand? So that is who I am. Even when you approach me, when you engage with me, you would know that about me. So you'd come at me correctly. You would know that about me. Because I also take that opportunity to learn people.
Yes.
So that when I come at you, I'm gonna come at you correctly.
Yeah.
So I expect the same. You know, there has to be that reciprocity between you and I to say that this is how I do things. This is how I move. You therefore have to approach me in that manner. Nothing else. And just because I'm different from you, which is what I'm learning now, you don't have to then make me feel as though there's something wrong that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not doing what you're doing.
Yes.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. We are organizing a braai.
Okay.
Anything that's happening during the day, call me, I'm coming. At night,
I'm not coming.
No, it's I can't relate.
Yeah.
Or also, it's the mindset that has carried me that said you need to make decisions for change. There's a situation you need to change. There's a redefining of the narrative that you need to do. So therefore, you cannot afford to entertain certain things. There are decisions that you can make. There are mistakes that you can make.
Yeah.
You don't have that privilege, unfortunately. You know, so I grew up with that mindset. As soon as I enter such spaces, I see all these things that I'm trying to change, and I'm like, this is not my place.
I don't belong here.
No, I don't belong here. And also, as frustrated as I was, like I said, I felt like I didn't belong because there's a lifestyle that I wanted to live. I found out in my adult years, I'm a fine dining girl. You find out those things. I want to sit down, let's eat, let's enjoy food, and let's converse. Sizwane kahle, akunamsindo where we just screaming for no reason. I can't be in those spaces, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean people who enjoy those spaces don't thrive. I know people who thrive, who enjoy that lifestyle, because they are doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
They're doing exceptionally well. It's also, you had a guest, I watched some of the podcasts, who was talking about the work-life balance.
Yes.
You need to be able to strike that balance between that life and the actual life that you need to do to impact change. So striking that balance becomes quite important. Yes. I'm an extremist, so if it's not too bad, it would be too good.
Yeah. Your varsity, how, because what I've seen is if this train, you know, misses you at teen years catches you at varsity.
Of course.
You going to UJ now, you become independent for the first time. There's no
Yes.
parent to sort of say, no, Duduzile, you're not going there. How was that experience? Sorry, were you an A student? How was your performance in school?
I was really hoping for that question so that I can be able to redeem myself.
Okay. There's your chance.
I need to. I'm intellectually gifted. It's something that I've tried to shy away from. I'm intellectually gifted, but I was lazy.
Okay.
I only showcased this when it mattered.
Okay.
I was quite lazy. Also, the laziness stemmed from, I know. I know.
Yeah. Somebody said to Crystal, so we're talking about Crystal getting his editing work done with late.
Okay.
And the guy who does our website said, actually, Crystal, that's arrogance. He said, that's you being arrogant.
Isn't it justified? As long as you've got something to back it up. You can't just be arrogant without any basis, to be quite honest. But if you can flex, why not?
Yeah.
Not everybody has that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was that learner. I was quite lazy, but I was intellectually gifted. I was one of those kids where teachers would say, there's potential here. But you would need to then mind this person and get them in the right frame of mind. Also, I think there were a lot of things that were weighing heavily on my mind. One of the examples is that I did not understand why we had to be assessed according to a memo. Why is there no room for different thinking?
Hey,
I'm wrong because the memo says I'm wrong.
You're starting with me, ne?
But not because I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You are literally assessing me based on a set memo.
Yeah.
There's no room for a different perspective there.
Yeah.
There's no room for me to flex in terms of how I understand this. So I struggled with that because I knew that I was going to be assessed on a set memo. My thinking is different. Why is there no room for my kind of thinking? It could be raw, but let it be put to a test.
Yeah.
That I'm wrong. Don't say I'm wrong outright based on a set memo or standard. So I struggled with that. Also, it speaks to the quality of teachers. I always say teaching is a calling. It's unfortunate that right now it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's a calling. You'll have teachers who would understand that about you and take up their time after class to really want to understand how you think and how you perceive things. But then at the end of the day, it's what the basic education has set as a criteria and a standard.
Yeah.
To say this was meant to be a response. But I don't think that's how we should approach our education. We must open room for learners to showcase and flex their different thinking, perspectives into things. And from that, you will also have an opportunity to learn. And also it helps in curriculum development. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have a memo that's been set for 5 years. Things have changed.
Yeah.
There has been a whole lot that has happened. Why are we not thinking differently? Why are we not then trying to speak to that difference that exists? Because it's frustrating.
Yeah. Part of what I like about AI, I think, is going to disrupt the education system as
it's going to, or it has.
Yes. And I'm grateful for that, because I've also, I question I don't question it, but I just think it has its own flaws. The education system, it has its own flaws, and as a result, there's a lot of casualties. There's a lot of potential that should be realized, but it will not be realized because of the system of education.
Also, what makes me really, really it's a sad thing. I was looking at the stats the other day. I still don't get the 30% pass rate. 30, you've done nothing. You've not even scratched the surface. Why have we then set the bar so low? Do you understand a whole lot of potential that will be lost? Not because these kids are not talented, they're not academically gifted, but because they are being encouraged to aim low.
But maybe my bit of comment on that. While I worked, I once saw a result of an old guy that we worked with, and I think it was a report from the 80s, and he did a 30-something pass rate.
Right.
And I thought to myself, are we questioning the 30% because of the quality of education, or are we questioning it because it's a standard? Because what I find is a lot of people question it today, but it has been there for years. So are we saying it's a system that has been flawed for all these years, or it's a system that is now flawed because the education or the quality of education has dropped, So essentially, we are no longer lifting the type of weights that the guys in the 70s used to lift. They would be stronger with their 30%, and we would not. So I'm really not sure. But maybe what is your take on that?
It's the quality. But more than anything, it's the outcomes that we are seeing. We are judging it based on data. What is it producing now?
Yeah.
We're talking about the now. What is it producing?
So you're saying 30% was good then.
Yes.
But now it should not be acceptable.
Actually, even then, 30 was just the set standard. The actual standard then was 50. We've always growing up, we've always known that 50% is where it's at. Even though technically the 30 would be there, but we always aimed for 50. We always aimed for 50, and the system itself encouraged us to aim for 50. But right now we are saying 30. It speaks to the quality of education. It speaks to the quality of educators. It speaks to the learners themselves. Do you know that we have learners now, compared to back then, we have learners now who leave matric, who can't read for comprehension. That's a problem to be solved in primary. Yeah. What do you mean you can't read for comprehension? How are you going to become a lawyer if you can't read for comprehension?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is the consequences of such that we've set the bar very low. It's the bar is on the floor. That learners would think that it's fine for me to get a 30 as long as I have matric. What is your matric if you can't get into university? Where are you going to pursue these dreams?
Yeah, it's a problem.
So it's about, and it also speaks to how they approach life in general. They always aim low because it's encouraged. You don't want to become an actuarial scientist. I also read something disturbing, that there are schools that are no longer offering mathematics.
Sure.
Because there are no teachers who teach mathematics. Yeah. Do you know what that means? We've got learners who are getting into the system at university who are doing bachelors of education, but none of them is measuring in mathematics.
Yeah.
The foundations are not right. I had a mathematics teacher who would always say, you shooting?
Yeah.
Primary. So how's only more? There isn't much that we can do. So it speaks to the foundation phase of this. Is the foundation right? If we are producing a whole lot of educators who focus on business, who focus on economics, who focus on arts and culture, on life orientation, but when you research and you look at future skills, what do we need? We need data analysts. We need people who lean more towards subjects that require you to be proficient in mathematics. What are we therefore saying about our future?
Yeah. I don't want us to run out of time.
Okay.
Let's talk about your varsity. Let's talk about your varsity. The question was, were you an A student? And it led to this. But it's fine. I think you've answered it in many ways.
I've always been intellectually gifted.
Yeah.
But I just didn't flex it until university.
Okay. At varsity, how was that experience? Yeah.
I shared this at the conference that I was speaking at on Friday. I felt like an outsider. I felt like I didn't belong there.
Has it changed though?
Yeah, of course it has.
So you no longer feel like an outsider?
No, in any space.
Okay.
And I'm glad that I felt like that, I identified it and solved for it, because it would have been a problem. If you have an inferiority complex, it doesn't matter how gifted you are, how talented you are, how clever you are, you will always be in spaces and feel like you don't belong. I wouldn't have pursued the levels at work that I occupy now.
Yeah.
If I had kept that mentality.
Why? Sorry, I jumped the gun because I asked, has it changed?
Yes.
Instead of asking, what made you feel like an outsider?
The diversity was overwhelming. That's number one.
Okay.
I mean, what do you mean you're coming to class in an M4?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And being exposed to students who are from a different background than mine. They're from affluent cities and environments. They've been, some of these things that I'm enjoying now, they've gotten over them a long time ago, you know. But also, it got me asking myself, why couldn't my childhood turn out in this way? Who's to blame for this? Is it me? Is it my parents? Man, you are black. You are driving an M4. You are my age. So probably your parents are around my parents' age. What is it that my parents didn't do that your parents did?
Yeah.
You know, it forces you to try it into thinking about how did this come about. But also it gets to a point where you say, we are here now. Yeah. It's either you make the most of this so that you create that for your own children. They don't have to ask such questions. And then you can make your life whatever that you wish it to be. And that's where the shift and the change happened. But more than anything, self-awareness helps. Having conversations with self helps. I sat down and said, I'm exposed to students who dress way better than I did. I just had clothes to go to school. They lived at dresses that were way better than the communes that I occupied for most part of my university before I realized that I deserve better. So in my final year, I went to race. I'm one person, I don't let things that I want remain unattended to. Everything must be achieved. Everything must be achieved.
You don't leave stones unturned.
No, I don't. When I got to university, I've always wanted to live at rest. I'm a rest girl. Don't tell me about external accommodation. It's not my vibe. But I found myself having to go live there. And I made sure that before I leave university, I go to rest. That's exactly what I did. So you have to aim at something. And you must be very, 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 very firm and rigid in making sure that you get to it. In how you navigate and move around. So I've always had this, I attract kids who are from well-off families.
Okay.
I do. In friendships with my cousins, I attract them. They're just my people. I attract them. And I'm fortunate to attract the kind that does not base their entire existence on what they have. They just want to be like you. They just want to be normal. They just want to live a normal life outside of all these things. So I attract the kind. So when they invite me into their spaces, I get exposed. And then I said to myself, why do I attract these people? there's something in me that they want. There's no way. And I realized that the answer has always been there. I got to university. It was not a fudua of some sort to get to university. It was not a raffle for me to get there. It took my brains. Took my brains. So that's what I have. And that's what I'm going to use. And that's what I'm going to be known for. Anything that I'll be known for will stem from my brain, because that's the one thing that I have. I don't come from a rich family. I don't have the car. I don't come from the most affluent suburbs. I don't have all of that, but I have this. And that's where the game changed. I literally viewed myself differently after that. I said, if I could use my mind to acquire these things, to be in these spaces, I could sit with the learners or people, my peers who are from Model C schools and private schools. And I'd be listening to them. I'm like, Wena, you're speaking English, but there's nothing in what you're saying. And I wait for you to finish.
The language is nice.
Then I attack at midnight. I attack, and it gives you that weight. And then it gets people to notice you, to say, there's something there. And that's how you move. Even where I am in corporate, same thing. I use my mind. That's my weapon. I've got nothing else to use. I just use my mind. So that mind that I have, the brains that I have, there's another township child. There's 10, there's 15 of them who have the same brains. And I want them to use that as their weapon. Hold on to that. You don't have the coolest shoes. You don't have the coolest parents or who have this and that. But you have a mind that even people who have those things don't have. They revere that in you, that you've got that mind. Use it, develop it, work at it. It will literally buy you a seat at the table. It has bought me a seat at the table. Where people at first glance do not see your background. They are waiting to hear what you are going to say. They will learn about your background later. And you need your brains. You need your intellect to introduce yourself to people before they even know where you come from. So you use that, because there are spaces that require your competence, your skills, your knowledge before they want to know where you come from. So it's not always going to be about your background. There are spaces that will only want what you can offer.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I see in the space that I'm in, and I'm fighting that with everything I have, is we, especially as a Black community, we use every reason except for a merit, a value proposition. I will say, I deserve this job because I'm a Black woman. I deserve that because I have a qualification. I deserve that because I am youth. But can you really do the thing?
That's the question.
Can you really do the thing?
I put this before the audience I was speaking to on Friday. We were talking about gender dynamics. And I said, in your becoming, in your journey of self-discovery and becoming what you want to become, show up as a human being first before you show up as being a woman, as being Black, as being anything else.
Yeah.
What is required for where you are going? You need competence.
Yeah.
You are judged based on merit. Yes, there are dynamics where it's unfair when it comes to gender. You can't get this position because you're a woman or whatever the case may be. But more than anything, for you to navigate, know what you're doing. Be competent. There's nothing I find attractive more than competence. I love competence. Be competent in what you're doing. Develop, become the best. If people are looking for what you're doing and they're asking who can do this, let your name be part of the names mentioned when they are counting or suggesting people who are good, who are best at a certain thing. So that's it, merit. We are not going to use gender dynamics. We are not going to play the race card. Yes, we are mandated to redress the imbalances of the past that we cannot run away from, that we cannot, unfortunately, it has to happen. But more than anything, these spaces require you. Yes, you are black. Yes, you are young. We've given you an opportunity. What are you doing? Are you showing up? Are you coming to work? Are you innovative? Are you agile? Are you adaptive? Those are the things that we need.
Yeah.
Are you analytical in how you do things? Because we need analytical skills. We need people who will drive strategy. That is what organizations are looking for, to live out their objectives, not to attend to you being black and white. They've got policies to do that, and they will address that. But more than anything, be known for competence. Be occupy spaces based on merit. It also gives you confidence.
Yes.
In that I'm not here because I'm a woman. Because as much as you may lie to people, when you have been put as because of being black or being young, being youth or being whatever, coming from a disadvantaged background, there's always something that will remind you that you did not gain the competency for this. And even in your work, it will show.
Yeah.
It will show. So occupy these spaces, having built merit. Build your profile. Grab every opportunity. Showcase what you have. Make those mistakes. Learn from them and grow from them. That's all we need. We need competence. There's a quote that I live by. Robert Greene.
Yep.
He says, when you are socializing, you can just choose anybody for socializing. But when you are working, you work with the skilled and the competent. And that is the only way you're going to achieve results. I work with the skilled and competent. When I hosted my first Mind Law and Legacy seminar, I looked at the team that I was working with. Hardworking, disciplined. There's no anaka for chase. No. We would work through the night because we are chasing something. We need that level of dedication. Trust me, without it, you will not make it. Hard work is something that we have to make fashionable. We must work hard. You must roll up your sleeves and work. Get to work. No entitlement. No, I was listening to this other personality. He then said, I'm looking at today's youth. They're talking about work-life balance. And I'm looking at the goals that they're trying to achieve. I'm like, it's not going to work. It's too early for you to cry work-life balance at this point.
Yeah.
You need a good 10, 15 years of hard work for you to get to where you say you want to go. So just roll up your sleeves and work. And I'm glad that I subscribe to that. I believe in hard work. When we are playing, we're playing. But when we are working, I work and I work hard. And I'm charged. When you're working, I try not to be busy about other things. Let us work. So Robert Greene says, when you're socializing, you can pick just anybody. But when we're working, you only work with the skilled and competent and stay away from the unlucky. That's what he says. Stay away from... And the unlucky are not unlucky because of anything. It is because there's a whole lot of laziness, sense of entitlement, and victim mentality that exists. That's what makes them unlucky. They are not born like that. So he says, stay away from such people who would always blame circumstances. Yes, this is what's happening right now. But what are you going to do?
Okay. Dudu, I've got 6 things here. They want me to wrap up. I always try and create frameworks because we are educating. I always try and create frameworks. And I think this one, there's a lot of things that you said. This one, it will probably not be complete, but at least it will give somebody pointers, and Crystal, I'll try and get him to put bullet points, on the session. The first thing that I have is read about where you want to go.
Yes.
Very important.
Very important.
It's an exposure. You might not be knowing Cape Town, but read about it.
Read about it.
Yes.
Because you get to live in Cape Town before you get to Cape Town.
Exactly. Yes. The second one is aim at something.
Aim at something.
Aim at something. I don't know if that should be the first one. But sometimes just read about a lot of things so that you can at least know what you want to aim at.
So what happens is that you would read and then that would inform what you're aiming at.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. The third one, be visible.
Don't hide yourself.
Yeah.
I made that mistake.
Okay.
Because I resurfaced later when I
Yeah.
could have done that quite early.
Yeah.
But don't hide yourself.
Part of the reason why we started this podcast is because I really have a strong feeling that really good people that we should be emulating are hiding.
They are.
They are hiding. They don't want to come to podcast and talk about the good things that they're
doing.
And
That is so true.
it's a mistake.
Do not hide.
Yeah. And then the fourth one, limit access or set boundaries.
It's very important. Otherwise, you'll be everywhere with everyone.
Number 5, prioritize self-awareness.
It's important.
I love this one.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because it helps. It helps you. You would then know your shortcomings. You would know your areas of development. You would know the kind of mentorship that you need. You would know the education that you need to acquire. When you are aware in terms of what are your abilities, what are your talents, what are your gifts, what is available to you at the time. What still needs to be worked on, and what is it that you need to let go? Sometimes you need to let go. Self-awareness helps you with that.
Yeah.
To say you love that thing, but you are not competent in that thing. Nothing of value will come out of that. Therefore, you get to then tailor this thing of yours into what is it that you can work with, and you will become as a result of. So be self-aware.
Be self-aware. The last one, build confidence.
Actually, I feel like that would be the please build confidence. Because now, for you to sit like Vuyani and teach, Vuyani, you are teaching us based on what, honestly? Honestly.
I feel like it.
Because now we are flooded by people who just want to teach.
Yeah.
They've not even earned the basis to teach us.
There's no merit.
There's no merit. You've got nothing to show. There's nothing that compels me to listen to you. If I were to research you and not listening to what you are saying, I'm like, but when are you can't be speaking to me? Yeah. When are you still need to work? That is what I said to you when I got here, that I'm still in my journey of becoming. I just want to share the experiences thus far.
Yeah.
But to sit in an interview and do some profiling, we are not there yet.
Yeah.
Please work. Please get
yourself.
Yes, please work. And then you would have practical experiences to share.
Yeah.
To say, this is how it happened. This is what I went through. And these are the end results. Because the results always come quite late in life. But the becoming, you can share that journey. Now, right now, we are mandated by people who just want to talk. I don't know if it's because they need someone to talk to. But there's therapy for that.
Yeah. The thing is, I think also there's a lot of grandstanding. And the fake it until you make it.
It's the West mentality.
It has become so popular that people are thinking, I'm going to fake it until.
Also, people will listen to you based on what you have.
Yeah.
You can be the most brilliant person, but if we are not seeing materialistic or tangible things around you,
it's a problem.
If you can't tell me how to be successful, you've not attained the success.
Yeah.
It's quite sad. But you need to be able to tell who is it that you would add whose teachings would add value.
Yes.
Or would be impactful.
Yes.
And leave out everything else. You don't have to listen to everyone. You will end up confused. You don't know whether you should be on a fast lane of attaining this life, which requires you to do the most outrageous things, unethical, unprofessional, illegal. Or you listen to people who are saying, you're going to get there, but it's going to take you time. And they're honest. Yeah. It's going to take some time. But eventually it will happen. You just need to roll up your sleeves and work. And my generation, it seems like we're not interested in working hard. We want things and we want them fast. And we want them now, which is quite sad. You see, once you employ that mentality, it's down spiral from there. Because the frustration of not being able to acquire these things will lead you into other spaces where you might not come back. So it helps to be able to have that discernment in terms of who to listen to, even what you consume, the podcasts that you listen to, what you go through on your social media.
Yeah.
Be very mindful of people who have an impact in your life, who speak to your life. You've become very, very mindful because you know that with each and every deposit, you get to withdraw from that. And unfortunately, you only withdraw what has been deposited into you. So be mindful of what is being deposited into you.
Thank you very much for today. It was such an interesting topic. Yeah.
Thank you.
What are you working on? Hopefully a book one of the days.
Remember we said we are becoming. So maybe we will write a book at some point, just to capture these experiences.
Yes.
We will write. But also there's that notion right now that's going on where everyone is writing a book. Whether you have the credentials or not, you're writing. You know? But I want to build rapport in terms of I want to note down meaningful things, valuable, impactful. So that when you read, you experience what I experienced. You get to live in what you are reading and then be inspired to make change from that point, whatever it is. But what I'm working on now, I'm looking into going into practice.
Okay.
You know, I've been in corporate.
Yeah.
I've been doing commercial contracts for some time now. I also we're existing in a time that requires you to diversify your portfolio. Be here, be there, be here and there.
Yeah.
We no longer enjoy the privilege of just doing one thing and succeeding from it. So I want to be versatile like that in terms of my skills and what I can do. What Mind-Blowing Legacy stands for, where we are talking about legal matters that impact our communities, legal matters that impact the middle class, legal matters that would cause Black people to regain their dignity in how they build their legacies. You know, in terms of us not shying away from having wills.
Yeah.
Planning our estates well. You know, understanding the importance of the responsibility that we have towards our kids, even when the parents are no longer together. Because how you raise this child, but society has to deal with what you raised.
Yeah.
And if you can't find common ground, then it means that we've got another problem in society that we need to solve for. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my focus also will be heavily on Mind-Blowing Legacy. There's a lot of legal education and misconceptions that I need challenged, that we need to unlearn them. We need to unlearn and relearn and do things better. My dream is that there will not be a difference between how a white person plans their legacy and how a Black person does it. It's very important to me. We need to regain back that dignity of saying that we have our matters in order. I know when I die what's going to happen. I know who's going to take care of my kids. I know how my estate will be bequeathed. My dad died intestate, you know, and he had a child who from outside. And a whole lot of things happened, you know. But if he had died testate with a will, none of those things would have happened.
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm heavily focusing on that empowerment. Hence, I brought it to the VAL. Mind-Blowing Legacy was launched in the VAL, and it's going to continue in the VAL. Because the people that I need, mindset changed, are here. People in Sentin have Investec to advise them. They've got their private wealth planners and all sorts of things. But as for the middle class that exists in this community or in this region, I am here to solve for that. I'm going to bring those who can help you to you. So that then you can ask them the questions and you can get those services from them and you plan your life accordingly.
As we close, you said Mind, Law and Legacy is a series
of seminars.
Of seminars. When is the next seminar? coming? Do you know? Can you?
Yes.
If you know, in a few
I
few
think
seconds.
I do know. Like I
Yeah,
said,
just share that with
I'm
us.
a planner. So we're hosting. So before I tell you when is it, Mind Run Legacy is powered by a consultants company that I co-direct.
Okay.
It's called Mangoba Radebe Legal Consultants. It is not a law firm, but it's a hub of legal minds, legal eagles brought together from different fields of law.
Okay.
We brought them together based on what? Merit, competence, and results. So if you want these three things, you come to Mindland Legacy. We assess your meta is, and then we recommend the best. We get you to work with the best. In that, we move like an agent of some sort to say, you have sold me this person as competent, as skilled, as knowledgeable, as an expert, but I'm not getting the results. You have a recourse in us to say, I'm putting this on you to make sure that this happens. A lot of people don't have that. People get emails about the ref eaten. They child. And they don't have a recourse. Who do you ask? There's no one that this lawyer accounts to.
Yeah.
So therefore you don't have a recourse. But with us, we know how we work in our network, and we know exactly how to get recourse. So we become that middleman between you and other legal experts.
Okay.
Yes. So Mind Run Legacy next year in April.
Next year, April.
Next year, April, I will obviously in time, I will share the details of what is it that we're talking about. We are including employment relations next year. Because this year we focused on family law.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking all things divorce, marriage, marital regimes, child maintenance, financial wellness, and mental wellness. But next year we are introducing other areas of law until we get to each and every legal problem that there is on the ground.
Thank you so much. You already have.
I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
But please be a friend of this podcast. We hope to see you again here. And I hope to build a huge network of people like you, guests like you. Let's teach our community. Let's help each other become better. Thank you.
That is the mandate.